Hello, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with the second part of my May book haul. It was just too big for one video. So if you watched the first one and you're back here for the second, I have to say thank you very much for tuning in again. This video, I've got some vintage horror, I've got some true crime, I got a little haul from Death's Head Press, I got some books from when I visited the Last Bookstore in Los Angeles, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about all these books that I bought. So let's start with the books I bought from Death's Head Press. I really wanted to order Brian Keene's novella with Teeth, which I really don't know what it's about. It's like a group of friends and then there's something in the woods and something with illegal activities. I don't know. It's just the cover. The cover is so good. Does it say who did the cover art for this one? Cover art, Alex McVeigh. So great. Such a great cover. So while I was there, I thought I'd throw some sugar around. I also picked up Reception by Kenzie Jennings. This is about a woman and her sister. Her sister is getting married and she's at the reception, and all of a sudden the family, the bridegroom? I don't know, what would you call that? The groom's family goes ballistic and they're cannibals, I guess. So, you know, try killing and eating people, I'm imagining. Then I also picked up the second book in their, do they have a name for this thing that they're doing? It's a splatter western, but this one is Hunger on the Chisholm Trail by M. Ennenbach. And this is about a cattle drive on the Chisholm Trail, and then there's a creature, and I gotta tell you, I am very excited for this splatter western creature feature thing that's going on in this book. My wonderful, wonderful husband, Zach, he brought me to the Last Bookstore in LA. It's somewhere I've wanted to go forever. It's just so cool inside. It's like this big bookstore, right? And they've got like vintage used books and new used books and new books all mixed together. So it's just so much fun. They had a massive, really fun fantasy section, and they had a horror section, which honestly, it was like bigger than most bookstores, but a lot of it was, you know, the typical like Stephen King and stuff like that. So and they had like Paul Tremblay and stuff like that, but it was just really most stuff I've read before, so it was cool, but I didn't find a ton of stuff. It was really fun to see, and I'd love to go back there sometime. They have like a yarn store inside of it, just like all this fucking weird shit. They have records and movies and t-shirts. So I ended up finding a couple books anyways, even if maybe their horror section didn't wow me. And another thing is their used books were incredibly cheap. I was very surprised by the price. So let's see, I found this book called Cut Up by William Cross, and it was in the true crime section, but this is not. This is fictional. And the back of this says, the police knew it had to be the work of someone who was medically trained and insane. Only a doctor or nurse could perform a task so cleanly, so precisely. Only a surgeon could have kept her alive through it all. Detective Fuchs. I don't know, I just want to say Fuchs. It's F-U-C-H-S. Fuchs? I'm gonna say Fuchs. Detective Fuchs has never seen anything so strange or disturbing until in his entire career. Until it happened again. So, yeah, this sounds great. I've been looking for some medical horror, and here it is. Sounds like it's gonna be a blast. I also found The Hunger by Whitley Strieber. This, I just like cannot tell what this is supposed to be about from the synopsis. It's like about a woman named Miriam, and she has these lovers, and they all end up being, it is exposed about them that they're hundreds of years old, and it seems like from the synopsis that this has happened to her more than once. So what the fuck is this a thing about Miriam that's turning these men this way, or is it a certain type of men that are attracted to Miriam? I can't tell. Seems like it's gonna be weird. I don't know. Then I also found some true crime books. Of course, I do love the older true crime books. So I found Loss of Innocence by Eric J. Adams. This was about Sherry and Christy Jansen, who were sisters. They were murdered by an 11-year-old classmate, I think? Or neighbor, sorry. An 11-year-old neighbor. I've never heard this story before. Sounds bananas. This is by Avon True Crime. Also, Blood Highway by Sheila Johnson. This is about a man who went on like a murderous rampage and killed some people. This one was done by Pinnacle. And I read a Pinnacle true crime book last month, and in the cover it said like Pinnacle. See here, Pinnacle. I don't know if you can see if my camera focuses on it. Maybe if I don't show my face. And then above it though, it said Zebra. So like, is Pinnacle connected to Zebra in some way? I don't know. Maybe one of you will know. I'm interested in it. I haven't Googled it or anything, but... And then I also bought The Life and Crimes of Richard Ramirez, The Night Stalker by Philip Carlo. And the Night Stalker case is one that I've heard a lot about. He's one of the heavy hitters, one that everyone who knows, it's just like a serial killer who is so well known that he's permeated even just into the public knowledge, I guess, you know what I mean? Like the general public knows who the Night Stalker is. He's not like somebody like Arthur Shawcross, who I also bought a book about, but I was never really interested in that case until I watched, I mean, I'd read some about it, so it was like, I feel like I know what it is, but I watched that documentary that recently came out on Netflix, and it was like, holy shit, this guy was scary as fuck. Like, he's almost as scary as the Golden State Killer, I think. Maybe more so, because he was also very stinky. Old Ricky Ramirez. Okay, and then outside of the whatchamacallit, the Last Bookstore, I have, let's see, this one isn't vintage, so I'm going to talk about this first before I talk about my vintage books. This is The Yoga Store Murder by Dan Morris. This is about the Lululemon murder, where these two women working at Lululemon together, they close up the shop, and then early the next morning, I don't remember what triggers this. Maybe one of the survivors calls the police, but the police get there and both the women are tied up. One's murdered and one's been beaten, and right away the police think that something hinky is going on, and that's all I'm going to tell you about this. It's a really interesting and yet absolutely fucking pointless murder. I've heard about it on podcasts before, so I'm gonna read a book about it. Okay, now the rest of the books that I have here are different sorts of vintage horror. I'll start here with The Misbegotten Son by Jack Olson. This is about Arthur Shawcross. Actually, I watched a documentary about him years ago, probably like 5 years ago. And I did not believe that he did the things he said, because the way he was talking about it was just like so... I felt like he must have been embellishing things. But it turns out he wasn't. It really happened. And he was a dude who targeted sex workers. He was just real gross, nasty, mean guy. I also picked up a point horror book. This is The Watcher by Lael Littke. I'm not sure how to pronounce their name. But this looks like it had a previous life in a classroom, which is fun. So this is about a young woman named Catherine, and she is obsessed with a soap opera, but she notices that in the soap opera things are happening to the characters, and then those same things are happening to her in her life. So what starts happening is she's obsessed with this television show, and she's watching the show to find out what's going to happen to her in her life next. And bad things start happening on the show. So this one sounds especially fun even for a point horror book. I also picked up a copy of the interview with the vampire. This is an edition I've been looking for a while. It's hard to find a nice, decently priced copy, and I found one. I'm so excited about it. It also has this portrait on the back. I don't know if you can see with my camera trying to focus on my face. Maybe you can see, maybe you can't. I don't know because I'm blind. But Interview with the Vampire, if you didn't know, is about a vampire kind of explaining his origin, how he came to be, to a reporter. I also was able to find a copy of Demons by Guy and Smith. This says it's a sequel, which I didn't know. I just am trying to pick up the Guy and Smith UK editions when I find them. So I don't really know. It says this must happen death bell. 3 young people rehang a satanic death bell which brings terror and destruction to a village, and then Demons takes place a decade later. So I can't really tell you much about it, but I do love the UK covers to Guy and Smith's books. They're just so icky. They're so icky. I love them. I also found The Adept by Catherine Kurtz and Deborah Turner Harris. This is one I've also been looking for not as long. It's not as hard to find a copy of this. This is a fantasy book, but unfortunately, I was looking for this because it had really fun step back art, and this one does not. But I don't always know that when I'm ordering something online, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But this is about a magician who lives in Scotland, and suddenly there are a bunch of black magicians in his beloved Scotland. So he's going to, I don't know, put them through the ringer, knock them out, do some good magic on them. I don't know. Seems fun. I also picked up Necroscope by Brian Lumley. I have Necroscope 2 just because I was able to find it, and it was like a really nice copy for a good price. So I decided probably I should buy the first one so that I can actually read the series. And don't know a ton about what this, I don't know a ton what this is about. I don't know a ton about it is what I'm trying to say. What the heck? I just know that there are like Soviet spies and vampires and a necromancer. So that's all I know. It's got some good art in there too. Okay, last one here. This is Shadow Vengeance by Wendy Haley. This is a zebra book that I was able to find. And this is about a woman named Maris, and her husband dies, and she's left with their child who gets very sick, and in the process of finding a way to cure her child, heal her child, she finds out that she's adopted. So she needs to get to like the roots of her family tree. She needs to know, I guess, if there's a history of family illness. She needs to know her family history. So she's trying to track down her birth mother, and while she's doing this, she starts getting like these really threatening letters, I guess. I was about to say emails, but I don't think there was email when this, you know what, maybe there was. I don't think she's getting emails though. Anyway, she's being threatened is what I'm trying to say, and people for some reason don't want her to find out the truth behind her parentage. So that's Shadow Vengeance. Well, those are the books that I bought in May, the second half of them at least. If you'd like to watch the first part of this haul, where I've got things from subscription boxes, some other horror books, some things I bought from Thunderstorm Books, I'll leave the link, there's only one link to that in my description. And yeah, check it out. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought about them. Spoiler free, of course. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you all for watching. I will talk to you later. I'll see you soon. Oh my gosh. Maybe I will see you soon. I don't know. I'll talk to you later though. Bye!